Alright, today we're going to be covering the first bonus stage of iBomber Defense Pacific and going through how to get a perfect round on Veteran. Um, an important thing about this mission is it's very heavily dependent on the way you design your maze. Thus, you really need to get a good idea of the direction you're going in before you really start to lay things down, because you don't want to end up selling turrets, because money is also a big factor here. Either way, you can see we kind of started creating a funnel because we want to push the enemy units and their approach downwards. And you see that kind of box that we have towards the top, well, that's going to be an area that we section off and keep the enemy away from in order to put our most vulnerable turrets there and protect them. And you can see I've also sped up the speed here. And another thing is, notice that even though the base flashed earlier, the enemies actually didn't get inside of it. Our goal here is to spend as little money as possible early on, while we get a few bomb turrets up to destroy those crates, and do just enough to basically stop the enemies coming in. Now, mainly what we're trying to do is try to kill some of the enemies that are coming in while we drop the bombs on the crates if possible. But in the meantime, the couple of flamers spaced out with the machine guns and that one machine gun turret at the top there dug in really helps things. Now you can see at wave 15 we had to build our anti-aircraft turret, and we had that first comms tower, which I was mentioning we want to spend as little money as possible. It's because we need to save up comms towers to get our full interest payout as soon as possible. But we placed that comms tower in the vicinity of the turrets, and because we've pushed down the path that the enemies have to take to enter, the comms tower really isn't in any danger, even though it's not completely walled off, along with the bomb turrets and the other comms tower we just placed. At wave 20, had to upgrade that anti-aircraft turret, and as you can see now, I've been using my bombs to weaken the enemy waves as they kind of come in. And one cool thing about the path that I've chosen to push the enemies down is if they get too close to the base, I can pause the game and drop some bombs on them by putting them, dropping the bombs near my base. That way I'm not damaging my turrets, but I can still damage enemy units, as you saw earlier. Anyways, I'm trying to keep up because it's going kind of fast. As you can see, kind of just barely stopping them right outside the base. And now we've got 4 fully upgraded comms turrets, and we're pretty close to earning full interest now. Just need to save up about 200 with that many comms. And you see that other machine gun turret replaced? Well, that's going to help shield the comms turrets since they're getting kind of close to the approaching enemies. And at the same time, it's going to be part of our wall. I actually had to sell that one because I need to move the wall down a little bit. And you'll see the actual maze that I'm going to develop here in a second, because now that I'm starting to get full interest, and what you want to do is once you get full interest like I am, which should be hopefully around wave 25, you want to start putting as much money as possible without losing that full interest every wave into your maze, and that's when we can really start expanding our turret offensive capabilities as opposed to using our bombs as a fallback option. And as you can see, I'm starting to dig in the top row of turrets because they are only ever going to be facing down to shoot the enemies, so it's very worthwhile to do so. Now also keep note of the anti-aircraft and how it's progressed through the waves. We've got 2 now, one at level 1 and one at level 3, and they're both boosted. And as you can see now, I've got the most of the maze done, and you can see how it kind of curves in on itself. This is to create an effective pocket which we can have our turrets dug in and get a nice amount of coverage nonetheless. And definitely a highly suggested maze type. Anyways, and as you can see, we've sufficiently pocketed off that little vulnerable turret area, so we're going to use it for all our comms, eventually some cannon, well, 1 or 2 cannons, not too many actually. Mostly it's going to be rocket turrets that are going to be up there. Anyways, so, and as you can also see, I'm not upgrading all of the machine guns. I'm trying to limit the machine guns which are upgraded to that top row, which are going to be dug in, and any of the machine gun turrets which are going to be shot at often, because those need to be upgraded so the repair costs are cheaper, plus they have more health points for when the incoming firepower becomes really strong. Now, Starting to build those rocket turrets, as you can see. The flame turrets spaced out where they are a big part of this maze and the way it works. You really need to keep them slowed down at every point, but without spending too much money on flames and devoting as much as money as possible to weaponry that actually does damage, like the machine guns and rockets and so forth. And as you can kind of see, I've managed to only use a few flame turrets, but they're spaced out well enough that they're always going to be burning everything. And got that one cannon. Now I've got 3 rocket launcher turrets. They're all being upgraded by comms, along with that upper row. And it's really making a big difference. And as you can also see, a while ago I upgraded my flame turrets, and that's another big part because you really need as much slow as possible. The since they're such a major part of this. That cannon turret up near the top, I want to mention, is more of a backup. I've got it positioned down the main maze for now, but that's something that you can easily reposition for that final stretch if the enemies make it there. However, if you've been following me closely, it's unlikely to happen because, as you can see, I'm starting to push them back more and more. And they're really not even making it into the maze very far at all. Now, as you can see, there's a few select spots which just I need to keep watching to repair. We've already made it almost towards the end here. And this is where the real challenge comes in, though, is this constant heavy waves of the basically super tough tanks, which are these ones. And you absolutely need the rocket launchers for that, because even the cannons can't thoroughly pierce their hulls and hit as many targets as once as the rockets can. And as you can kind of see, that little curve near the front is very important because that's where the rockets are doing the majority of their damage. All the enemies bunch up, and you really just lay waste to them that way. Anyways, from here on out, it's pretty much just repairing, putting more rocket turrets, more or less for the hell of it. But that last wave is going to be a doozy, so I want to also make sure you just have definite enough firepower for that. Oh, and as you can see also towards the end there, we have 3 fully upgraded AA turrets, and that's more than enough for the remainder of this mission. Pretty much here on out, it's just same so far. Few things you can actually do to improve upon what I've done here. Eventually you can see I upgraded all those machine gun turrets just because I had the money to spend. But what I was going to say is you can actually dig in. Notice that one machine gun turret that's not dug in near where they enter on the right. I think if it would have been dug in, I would have spent less money repairing it overall. So that could have been something that, a slight improvement upon the strategy I've done here. Very effective, so I would suggest sticking with it. And as you can see, we got our full house. Perfect round. And that's it. And that was definitely, this mission took me a long time, but thanks for watching this video.